Hi, I guess I'm going to get started. I hope this is the right thing to do. So I'm Steve Porter. I'm the MITCA Public Relations Director. I'm the representative to the Michigan High School All Coaches Association, Michigan High School Coaches Association that represents all the sports. And I'm the past president of that group. I'd like to start with a couple of thank yous. And then I'm going to share my screen and get on with the awards part. Some special thanks to Kerry Hamill. He's running the show tonight. He's pushing the buttons, and hopefully he's got some extra batteries in his computer and everything ready to go. Special thanks to Kearney Gilliam and Stephanie Stevenson. They are our organizers for this event. They recruited the speakers and organized all of that. We have a great group of speakers set up for you. Last night went very, very well, and I'm sure tonight will go well also. I'd like to thank those speakers. Again, we have an outstanding lineup. I'd like to thank the track committee for their introductions. They'll be making the introductions for the speakers tonight. And I'd like to thank our sponsors for the great advertisements that came up. They're very entertaining. Hopefully you get some business from the track coaches. I'm going to put up my slideshow and share this with you. And so this is going to be the awards part of our track and field clinic tonight. Tonight, we're going to announce some awards. We hope you are enjoying this virtual online clinic. MITCA is pleased to announce several award winners that we have. I'm going to go back and recognize some of the award winners from our online cross-country clinic that didn't get quite the recognition that we would have liked them to have. And we'll explain all of that. Don't forget to check back to mitka.org for information about upcoming up-and-coming track seasons. MITCA would like to thank the MHSAA for their continued support of high school athletics. And they're working very hard, and MITCA has pledged to follow their guidelines in every effort to, along with them, to keep our athletes, fellow coaches, and officials safe.
Steve,
coaches, check back to the MHSA website. I've talked with them this week. The information is changing all the time. They're working extremely hard. So check back to their website in regards to the track and field season and the rules meeting. So you're going to have to go to an online rules meeting. We'll let you know as soon as it comes up, but check back to mhsaa.com.
Steve, have you put up your screen yet or not yet?
Yeah, I thought I did. Is it not?
Nope.
Is it
Yeah,
not
I'm
up?
not getting it. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Let me get back into Zoom and maybe start over. Click on it. Share.
There we go.
All right. I'm going to go back to the. Have you been hearing me?
Hearing you great, and all that stuff was pretty good, and yeah, we're good now.
Okay. So I'm going to start here with an advertisement. All right. About 8 years ago, MITCA formed the Kermit Ambrose 101 Club. And I kind of keep things up for that. In the 8 years, we've collected almost $60,000. That money goes towards our Mid-East Meet the Champions, our Midwest Meet the Champions, and the Kermit Ambrose scholarship. Last year, we collected a record $9,800. This year, we're a little behind, and I'd encourage you to help out with your contributions. Right now, we're sitting at $4,200, and we're gonna need that money. That money's gonna help the kids that compete in those meets, the Mid-East meet, the Midwest meet. In the Mid-East meet, we were able to get a bus that took our kids down to Ohio. When the Midwest meet leaves Michigan, we're going to try to do the same And that's going to be a little bit more expensive endeavor to send the track kids to wherever that meet's gonna be. So this is how you send the money. You're going to send it to me, but don't make the checks out to me. And there's a link on our website that you can fill out and put some money in that form also, or you can mail the money to me, make the check out to the Ambrose 101 Club and mail it to my Milan address on Moorville Road here. I'll leave that up for a second. After the clinic's over, you're gonna most likely receive copies of the presentations, and this presentation will be in there, so you can get the address there also. Some places where you can go to, MITCA.org, although our site is under some construction right now, but we're working really hard to get that back up and running. We've had some issues with that, but there's forms that you can go to on MITCA Awards, nominate somebody for the Ambrose or Sweeney Award that we're going to announce tonight, the Hall of Fame. There's 3 parts to the Hall of Fame, and we're going to announce a Hall of Fame coach tonight. And then our Sweeney and Ambrose winners are also part of that Hall of Fame. There's awards for assistant coaches, middle school coaches, scholarships. I'm going to announce the scholarships tonight, and there's several other awards available there. You can also go to the All Coaches Association. That's MHSCA.org. And you can nominate coaches or find a friend and get them into the All Coaches Hall of Fame. And there's some other service awards. The All Coaches give out an award for service, and there's a form you can fill out for 15 all the way up to 50 years. I'm now going to start with some of our announcements for our awards. I'm going to include some of the awards that we had in the fall, and introduce some Hall of Fame coaches and the Ambrose and Sweeney Award. So tonight, this is our Sweeney Award, Derek Gonzalez. He's from Ypsilanti, Lincoln, and our Sweeney Award is our top award that we give out at the track and field clinic. It's named after Charles Sweeney. He was one of the founding fathers and is the highest honor that we give at the track coaches clinic. Coach Gonzalez is a neighbor of mine, and he has coached for 28 years, 21 years as the head coach. Derek has a coaching stint at Ann Arbor Green Hills for 3 years, Ypsilanti, Lincoln, where he was head coach for 18 years, and is currently a volunteer coach at Saline. He has served as head coach for both boys and girls in track and cross country. His coaching accomplishments include 7 league championships, 5 regional titles, 2 runner-up regional titles, and at the state meet, his teams have finished in the top 10 6 different times. He has coached over 100 all-state athletes, including 7 individual state champions. Coach Gonzalez has served on several MITCA and Michigan High School Athletic Association committees. He served as the chairman for the MITCA Track and Field Committee and was a member of our MITCA Executive Board for 8 years. And he has, to his credit, 8 proposals that were successfully passed by both MITCA memberships and accepted by the MHSAA Rules and Regulations Committee. So congratulations to Derek Gonzalez, our Sweeney Award winner and newest member into the MITCA Hall of Fame. In the fall, we honored Ben Watson from Rockford, and Ben was our 2020 Ambrose Award winner, and he's a member also of our Hall of Fame. Kermit Ambrose is the highest honor that we give out to a coach at the cross country clinic. Kermit was a founding father, and you saw earlier I mentioned the Ambrose Foundation, and the Ambrose 101 Club is named after him. Coach Watson has coached cross country since 2003. in the last 15 years at Rockford High School. He has an outstanding coaching resume. Ben has coached 3 MITCA Miss Cross Country recipients and 5 Foot Locker finalists. Coach Watson's teams have finished in the top 10 at the state in cross country 13 of the last 15 years. Ben has served on several MITCA committees and on the executive board. And in 2013, Ben was our MITCA president. So congratulations on the Ambrose Award, Ben Watson. In the fall, we also inducted Bob Brown from East Lansing as a Hall of Fame coach in cross country. Coach Brown coached the girls cross country at East Lansing High School for 35 years. He has a 178-61 record, including 8 league championships, 7 regional championships, and 7 top finishes at the state. Coach Brown was named the girls cross country coach of the decade from 2001 to 2010 by the Lansing State Journal. He has had 9 different girls earn All-State, and some of them multiple times. So congratulations, Hall of Fame inductee, Bob Brown from East Lansing. Now, because of the situation, we are going to invite these coaches, our Hall of Fame coaches, back to the next time we get to, hopefully in the fall, an in-person clinic. And we're all looking forward to getting back together and having a regular clinic. Some other awards that we give out through our Michigan High School Coaches Association, and these coaches were honored as 2020 Coach of the Year, and they were honored in the fall also at a virtual virtual induction ceremony. I'd like to mention their names. The Men's Coach of the Year from Sand Creek, Ernie Avery's. The Women's Coach of the Year from Corona, Alan Montgomery. And in cross country, the Men's Coach of the Year for the Michigan High School Coaches Association was Dean Blackledge from Hanover Horton, and Terry Tatro was the women's heart in the fall. Also from the Michigan High School Coaches Association, we honored in November 2 MITCA members into the All Coaches Hall of Fame. Roger Avers from Allegan High School and Jeff Deverenter from Birmingham Seahomes were honored in the fall at a virtual meeting, and we'd like to recognize and congratulate them for that induction and that honor. MITCA also is allowed to nominate, and this is a relatively new award, the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association. And this year we selected Men's Coach of the Year for cross country, Cliff Summers from Fremont, and Women's Coach of the Year, Terry Tatro from Hart High School. So congratulations to those recipients for the Michigan Cross Country Coach of the Year for the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association. I'd like to announce our 3 winners of our $500 scholarships. And MITCA has a form online. And if you have a son, if you're a member and you have a son or daughter that's attending college, you can apply for that. I think the deadline is October 30th. And we'd like to announce the 3 recipients. And this is for the 2021 school year. And Tessa Frank, the daughter of Richard Frank, will be attending Spring Arbor. She gets $500 from the Patsy Arpino Scholarship Fund. And Amber Snyder will be attending, or is attending, Grand Valley State University. She's the daughter of Tom Snyder, also $500 from the Patsy Arpino Scholarship Fund. And then from the Kermit Ambrose 101 Scholarship Fund, Jeremy Kloss will be attending, or is attending, Michigan State University, and both his parents coach, and that's Mike and Emily Kloss. And we congratulate and all of those coaches, and hopefully that $500 will help a little. Also in the fall, we named our Miss Cross Country, and Miss Cross Country is our top senior, and that's Audrey Damio. I think I said that right. I hope so. From Birmingham Seaholmes, and she has signed and will be attending Stanford University. So congratulations, Audrey. On the boys' side, Hobbs Kessler from Ann Arbor Skyline was our men's cross country, Mr. Cross Country, and he will be attending Northern Arizona, and we congratulate him for that honor. I'd like to put a little plug in for recognition out of Battle Creek. Mike Scholes supplies us and donates the trophies, and we thank him for his donations. He's been doing this for probably ever since we had the award. And pictured here are a few of the recipients. And I'd like to give a plug to Mike for donating the very, very nice trophy every year in both track and cross country for the Mr. and Ms. Award. And again, hope you can check back. I'm going to swing over to announcing some of our awards. After I'm done with our awards, I'm now going to announce the new members of our executive board. So here are our new executive board members. Okay. Our new secretary, and congratulations to Jackie Story from Jenison High School. She is our new secretary, and we just voted for her a few days back, and she will be ascending the ranks. Our other officers that are each moving up a little and is Nancy Smith from Northville, moves from secretary to our second vice president. So congratulations, Nancy. Also moving up from second vice president to first vice president is Rick Bauer from Saugatuck. And our newest president is Doug Yeager from Grand Rapids Christian, and he will be taking over. So congratulations to all of those officers that will be supporting and helping you. I'm now ready to turn the program over to, and we'll have a little passing the baton ceremony. And I'm going to turn the screen over, and it is my honor to turn the screen over to our now past president, Stephanie Stevenson, and our new president, Doug Yeager, for the passing of the MITCA baton.
Stop your screen share, Steve.
Yep, got it.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Steve Porter for doing all of that as the PR rep for the MITCA Executive Board. That's a lot of work, and we really appreciate it. So thank you, Steve. In 2017, the majority of you voted for me to be the MITCA secretary. And I'd like to thank you for that. That made 2018 my second vice president year, 2019 my first vice president year, and 2020 my presidential year for MITCA. I've had a lot of people say things over this time about how awful it is that this is my presidential year. What a shame that this is my presidential year. And it stinks that this is your presidential year. And it was awful that we lost our track season. It was a shame that cross country had so many cancellations and limitations on it. And it stinks that the cross country and track clinics were virtual. But I would still say that my presidential year was an amazing and wonderful experience. To help explain that, I have a quote that I would like to read to you from Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, if you're old enough to know who that is. And here's the quote. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I'm always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in the world. I love that quote. Yes, COVID is a disaster, but it has been my absolute honor to be the MITCA president during this crazy year. I have witnessed the absolute best of what it means to be a track and field and cross country coach in the state of Michigan. I have seen and continue to see the executive board working tirelessly to ensure the best possible experience for all of our athletes. Steve Lynn, our political liaison, and Brian Salyers, our cross-country committee chair, were absolute rock stars from early in the summer through the state finals. They were working literally around the clock at times to ensure first that we had a season, and then to ensure we had meets, and finally to ensure we had a state finals. I was so impressed when, with very little notice, the MHSAA announced this fall that we were going to have pre-regionals. The number of coaches from all around the state who stepped up and did all the hard work to make that happen for our athletes was so amazing to witness. I was also amazed at the end of the season when all the elite meets were getting canceled around the country, that Dave Lustig and a team of coaches, again, from around the state, put together our MITCA Meet of Champions. And they didn't just do it kind of, they put together a first-class event that gave back to those kids who so much had been taken away from. I'm thankful for the hard work of Kearney Gilliam, our clinic coordinator. Happy birthday, Kearney. And also Carrie Hamill, our media and communications rep, for putting together the cross-country and track and field clinics virtually, which we had never done before, so that we can continue to improve our knowledge base as coaches. I'm also thankful for all the new friends that I've made and the people that I have met from all around the state that I never would have gotten to meet if I hadn't had this opportunity. And finally, I'm comforted to know how hard the executive board is working and will continue to work on making sure that our track season is the best possible experience for our athletes. I'm sure that many of you will be asked to do new things this spring, and I know we're all going to have to adapt, but we will, because we're always doing the best thing for our athletes. That's just what we do in Michigan. And for that, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for all that you do. I want to thank you for stepping up for our athletes. And I want to thank you one more time for voting for me to be the secretary of MITCA in 2017. It has been my absolute honor, and I will cherish this for the rest of my life. It is now my privilege to hand off the MITCA presidential baton to Doug Jager. I know that MITCA will be in great hands moving forward, because Doug is definitely one of the caring helpers that help to make this world a better place. Congratulations, Doug, and stick.
Thanks, Stephanie. I think we nailed that exchange. It's been a pleasure to work with Stephanie, and she has been amazing over the last year. It has been a difficult year, but Stephanie was a great leader for us. For those that don't know, Stephanie runs a tight ship, and her meetings happen on time and end on time, and I appreciated that. In addition, Stephanie always had great ideas that came up during the meeting, things that I have never thought of, and we often implemented them. It's outstanding coaches throughout the board that helped our season to become a success this year, and I was thankful to work along Stephanie and all the other coaches. 1 year ago, it was impossible for us to envision that we would have no track season and that the cross-country season would have lots of protocols and restrictions placed upon it. But not only working with MHSAA and MITCA, but not only did we have our season, but we pulled it off on time, and were even able to complete a meet of champions at the end of the season. This post-season meet attracted hundreds of Michigan runners and made their season a little bit better. Now, as we turn to the track season, we are confident that working with the MHSAA and MITCA together, that we can pull off the 2021 season and complete it on schedule. We do not know any restrictions that may be placed upon us, but we are committed as a board to serving you and representing the great coaches of Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. And real quick, I'm just going to announce what we're going to next. And next, we're going to Coach Jim Knapp, who is a retired CMU men's track and field coach. And he's going to give us a little recap on what's going on with the efforts to reinstate men's track at CMU, which is something that we should all be behind for our athletes and for the state of Michigan.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to share a few minutes with you. I've talked to the MITCA clinic several times through the years, but it's been quite a while. I retired 11 years ago, but it's always a pleasure. MITCA is an incredible organization. I want to congratulate all the award winners, the new administrative staff. You represent one of the finest organizations in all of athletics. I want to speak with you just briefly this evening about what's going on, not only at Central Michigan, but what we're finding as we've researched this situation nationwide. As most of you know, Central Michigan made the horrendous decision on May 20th, 2020, to discontinue men's track. After spending 25 years of my life at Central Michigan, and at that level, it's not a job, it's a way of life. I was absolutely devastated, shocked, couldn't believe it. But a couple of things that came to mind immediately is that actually the first thing I thought about was, do they realize that they are eliminating opportunities for African-American student athletes? And I say that because per statistics shared with us by the NCAA, there are more African-American student athletes participating in track and field nationwide than all other minority minor sports, if you will, combined. And it's not even close. And now another university in the state of Michigan has eliminated that possibility. We're finding, at a time when racial insensitivity, racial diversity, racial inclusion is paramount on everyone's mind. To me, it's ridiculous that a decision like this would be made. And we're doing everything we can with the alumni of CMU men's track, which we've had contact and personal confirmation of over 600 of our alumni. And that's been very heartwarming to me that so many of them feel this way and are supporting. We're not here to badmouth the university. We're not here to fight a legal battle. Our athletes, to the person, are simply wanting to help. Now, we talk about the reduction in the elimination, if you will, of opportunities for African-American male student athletes to participate in college. I want to share there's an additional element of that by dropping the program. I go back to 2005, some time ago, but that's the greatest team we had, probably the best track and field team Central Michigan University ever had. In the fall of 2004, we ran away with the cross-country championship, the MAC championship. Indoor track, we won the championship again. And outdoor track in 2005, we won another championship. Additionally, in the indoor and outdoor conference meet, we set new records for total points scored in MAC championship meets. Another element of that records keeping, if you will, in both the indoor and outdoor championship meets, we had more athletes score in those meets than in the history of the MAC championship. But here's a point I want to share with this group, something I am very, very proud of. Of the 25, I think it was, please forgive me for the statistical errors, but of the 25 student athletes we had score at the indoor conference meet that year, 22 of them came from Michigan. At the outdoor championship, we had 27 young men score for Central Michigan, and 24 of them came from the state of Michigan, coached and developed by the greatest coaches in the nation. I've been around. I've recruited everywhere. I see the people that come in and what they're able to do, what their knowledge, their skill level, their understanding of training. MITCA, coaches in the state of Michigan take a back seat to no one. But I'm very, very concerned about our future. The trend that we're seeing nationwide is scary. And if it's left unchecked in your lifetime, in your career as a coach, you're going to see the elimination of collegiate track and field. Look at wrestling now, look at swimming, look at gymnastics. So many schools don't even sponsor those sports anymore. And that's tragic. What about the opportunities that are being taken away from student athletes? And you say, you know, we're talking about the men's team. Our research through the summer, and there's a committee of alumni from track, from CMU track and field that have really been digging into the statistics nationwide. And one of the things we're finding that's equally scary to me is if you look at schools that have dropped men's track, we are finding a significant decline in the women's program in terms of participation and success almost immediately. I hate to think of what is going to happen to the women's program at CMU. I'm not here asking or looking for a donation or any contribution like that. I wanted to take a moment of your time to explain what's going on, the efforts we're trying to make to save not only our program, but track and field nationwide. And as dramatic as I may sound, that is in the future. You are going to see a dramatic change in track and field at the collegiate level almost immediately. The development is exponential. One Central Michigan drops a program, and there are a lot of other schools thinking about it, and they say, well, hey, Central dropped it, Western Michigan dropped it, Bowling Green dropped it, Northern Illinois, Miami, Ohio, Toledo, and it's just, it's blowing up. It's mushrooming unbelievably. And again, if left unchecked, our sport is going to be eliminated. I would like to ask you, each and every one of you, to please take a moment and contact either President Robert Davies or our new athletic director at Central Michigan, Amy Folan, and share your thoughts. Tactfully, class, as all of you are. Again, as I mentioned earlier, our alumni, 600 plus that we are communicating with regularly, have totally avoided any malicious comment, any verbal put down of their university. They love their alumni, their university, the connections they have, and they want to maintain that. I spoke with Amy Folan, the athletic director, just this afternoon. Very impressive lady. The individual who made this decision to drop track left town shortly after that and is working somewhere else now. Amy is a very impressive lady, a very positive thinker, progressive thought. If anything can happen, I'm very confident she's going to make it happen. I want the people at Central Michigan University to know how much the track program there means to the state of Michigan, to you, to your program. We do not want to eliminate any more opportunities for your athletes to continue their careers post-high school. That is so grossly unfair. I believe somewhere, and I'm not a computer person at all, but I believe somewhere in this computer-driven world.
Yeah, they put
Yes,
it in the chat.
I see it down here now. The address for Amy Folan, the athletic director, and President Bob Davies are there for you. And again, I ask you, please, this is not for me. This is not just for Central Michigan. It's for our sport. We need your help. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. If anyone has any questions or has any ideas or anything that may help while Coach is here, we'll leave the Q&A open. If you have any questions, we'll leave that for a minute. And then I think in just a minute, we're going to have Dave Lustig on here to give us a recap on the Midwest Meet of Champs. I know both Steve and Stephanie mentioned it a little bit, but he's going to mention some of the other things.
John Lower, good friend of mine.
But yeah, I can't agree enough with what Coach Knapp said. Definitely from our perspective, as you know, we at Shepherd, we lost one of our athletes, was going to be a freshman at CMU, and he lost that opportunity, and that's something you can't gain back. So we do have one question, Coach, that either you could answer or I can if you want me to. Basically the question was, why was the program canceled?
Well, the reasons listed in the press release were COVID-19. That has become a catch-all. And I don't mean to mitigate the significance of this terrible virus, but everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. Budgets are tight. Budgets are being restricted even more and more all the time. But the figures that they're using in terms of, the press release said they're going to save over $600,000. I was a track coach at CMU for 25 years. They're not spending $600,000 on men's track. And we tried to point that out. We tried to point out that a lot of the expenses with a combined program are combined, and those expenses are going to continue even though they have a women's program. You take a bus to go to a track meet somewhere, Kent State or Tennessee or whatever it is, you're going to spend $1,000 on that bus, plus the expenses for the bus driver overnight and stuff. If that bus is half full of men and half full of women, you still spend $1,000. If that bus is half full of women and no men, the charge is still $1,000. And we could go on and on. If you need relay batons, if you need starting blocks and landing equipment or whatever operational equipment, it's the same price, whether you have a combined program or whether you're just dealing with women. So they're talking about finances, and I realize budgets are tight, but we have pointed out ways that we can, I don't want to say get around it, but we can deal with that. Our alumni want to help, but we're not going to come in and try to finance the whole program.
And another thing to kind of mention too is they do have to add a program back to be NCAA compliant within the next year or two. I think by 2022. So
Right.
No matter what, they have to add a men's program to be able to stay Division I. And obviously our opinion is the clear-cut choice would be to add men's track back.
Well, they've offered some thoughts on yes, you're absolutely right. They have to within 2 years add another sport to be compliant with the NCAA Division I. And the startup costs and the operational costs of another program are going to be very significant, much more so than I think they realize. But the other element of that, the sports they're looking at, and they're somewhat restricted because of facilities. They don't have a pool that conforms to NCAA regulations. So any sport that they might add, and there's only 2 or 3, and I don't want to identify them and badmouth anybody, but none of the sports they're thinking about address opportunities for African-American student athletes. And that's an element of this that really, really concerns me.
Hey, Carrie, it's Ted. I'm with Coach here. There's also the element of the tuition loss. So, Jim, do you want to talk about that, where you have 12.5 scholarships?
Well, the NCAA limit on scholarships track and field is 12.6. The last few years, Central has been operating on 9. They have a roster of 35 people. 35 people minus 9 scholarships leaves you with 27 FTEs or 27 student athletes that are paying their own way to go to school. That's a lot of money. You multiply that by the $25,000 it costs to go to Central Michigan per year, that adds up a lot. We have shown them on paper that dropping men's track will actually cost them money. It's not saving money. it will cost them money. The funds that are coming in through tuition, room and board and that, don't go to the athletic department, but they'll go to the overall budget. And the president of the university can decide what he wants to do with that money. But the university is losing money by dropping the program.
All great points, and I think, you know, some great ideas that the committee has come up with. And just like Coach said, if you can, please email them, reach out, keep it professional, but definitely reach out and let them know that it's a big deal in our community, in our state. Thanks a lot to Coach Knapp for coming on here and helping us kind of learn about this, and to Ted for helping Coach get on here. I will include all the email information for contact in my next email out tomorrow, before the day 3 for the clinic. So everybody that, if you didn't, it is in the chat here, but if you do want to, you'll get it in the email too. And I will share a link to join the Facebook group that they have. And I believe Coach or Ted can be telling us about something that's coming up on Sunday, right?
Yes. You don't want to address that?
Yeah, hey, it's Ted Rocket. I ran track right before Coach Knapp became the head coach at Central. I was on the team as a hurdler from the Warren area. So I went up to Central, and my brother actually ran for Coach Knapp at Northwood while I was at Central. But we have a town hall coming up. It's a virtual town hall on Sunday. So Carrie can also include that information in what he sends out to you. And you're all welcome to join. This is a public facing. All of our alumni group is invited, and we will be inviting the media. And we also will be releasing, to anybody who signs up, we'll be releasing our case for reinstatement, which is a presentation that we provided to the university. So we look forward to anyone who wants to join. We support MITCA, and we're real happy to have this opportunity to share with you tonight. And look forward to that information from Carrie. It's 7 p.m. Eastern, virtually. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Coach, and thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
And now we're going to real quick go to Dave Lustig to talk about the Midwest Media Champions.
Good evening, everybody. So thanks for having me. And thanks for MITCA for putting on this awesome virtual clinic. This is a super great thing. So just real quick, mid-October, early October, we found out that the Mid-East Media Champions down in Ohio is going to be canceled. That's our big event that we send our seniors to, and that with it, our qualifying meet was going to be kind of on the hook too. So kind of put our heads together and came up with an idea to host the Michigan Media Champions. And thankfully we did, because we had almost 700 entrants to this fantastic event that was held at Freeland High School the week after the MHSA state finals. And honestly, just want to do some shout outs real quick. Addicts, Ann Arbor Running Company, Hanson's, Runners Athletic, and Gazelle. They each hosted an elite team. So we had a live draft. We drafted the 14 best runners in the state onto these teams, and they just went after it. It was awesome. We had Moneyball Sports that was helping out, Aldrich Timing, and then Tried to Finish also were big supporters of this event. And when it was all said and done, we had 111 girls go sub 20 at Freeland's course. We had 115 boys go sub 17 on this course. It was phenomenal, and Freeland did a great job because they had about 6 days heads up during this crazy fall that we had that they were going to be hosting this event. A couple more things. Georgia Mallory Drown at Freeland High School. Carrie Hamill was instrumental. Josh Bork at Gazelle. The Kloha family, the owners of the property, we here in this event. Deb and Doug Jager were there at the finish line along with Jared Kraker the whole day. Love them. Thank you so much. This year's gonna be bigger and better. We are gonna continue to host this event. We're still gonna send our top seniors from this event down to the Mid-East Media Champions. But what we've been able to do is create an event where we don't have to send kids out of state. We can have the best athletes in Michigan running head to head in Michigan without having to travel, because we had the best competition in the state. No need to go anywhere else. These kids had a great experience. The experience is only going to get better, and we just want to have continued support from everybody here. And thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for that update. It was an awesome event. It was fun to be there. I had one of the athletes that I coach set a big, set a PR, and it was a great way for the season to end for some of them and to get kind of something special. And I know there were some kids who unfortunately had been contact traced out of regionals or the state meet, and then they got a chance to have that end of the season because they had already done their quarantine and got a chance to run at that meet. So it was an awesome experience for that meet. Thank you for everybody for sitting in and viewing this award ceremony and all the kind of the business things we had. Like Steve mentioned, the rules meeting will be have to be online this year because the MHSA has not gotten that information out yet, and understandably so. We don't know what the season is going to be like. I know rules and regs is tentatively scheduled to be in mid-February, so I would expect to see kind of your online rules meeting probably kind of once we get closer to the season in March and things like that. And like a question from Leo, any word on the track meet of champions for 2021? Not yet. I know that Kim Spalsbury is kind of in the early stages of trying to find out if that's going to be something that's possible. But we don't really have any information to share on that right now. Other than that, stay tuned for that, and kind of same thing. Once we kind of know how the track season can run, then we'll get a lot of word out there on things like the Midwest Meet of Champions, the MITCA team state meet, and the power rankings and everything like that. But for now, we will, you guys can take a quick break. We'll run some of the ads, and we will have our first session starting up at around 7:10. But maybe we'll start it maybe just a couple minutes early since we are done here early. And, but make sure you're probably try to be back here by 7 and we'll kind of get going.